All right, what's going on, YouTube? I wanted to speak on the light heavyweight division a little bit. I've been doing I've been doing a lot of videos just breaking down divisions lately. Because we have a lot of new champions, and then we have a lot of divisions like this one that is so close to having a undisputed champion, and it's not happening. I don't know why. There's two fighters with belts, and the fight is just not being made. And it's so close to happening. It could happen. It should have happened before 2015, but it hasn't happened yet. Okay, um, and outside of those two champions, there are fights that are kind of like repetitive fights. You got Sergey Kovalev and John Pascal rematch might be taking place, and I'm not mad at the rematch because it was a really good fight. Do I think Pascal can win or had a chance of winning? No, but he gave Kovalev some really good rounds. And, Pascal has had a rough year. He fought Yunieski Gonzalez, which was a very good fight, and a lot of people didn't really know who Gonzalez was. I know I didn't. I didn't see him fight until he fought Pascal. And then you got Fonfara, who's over there on the PBC Showtime side, over there with Adonis Stevenson, who, for some reason, these guys are not fighting each other. You have Fonfara, a guy that should fight a Kovalev. He should be fighting Kovalev. Stevenson should be fighting like a Pascal, and it shouldn't be split in the middle like the way that it is, with the promotional wars. But it is, it is what it is. And then you have a lot of fighters that's on the come up right now that I feel like some of them are not getting enough attention. We all know who Artur Beterbiev is. And part of the reason why I made this video, I was kind of inspired by the some of the YTBC videos that were made recently about Beterbiev and Sullivan Barrera. Okay, I saw some of those videos. And, I wanted to give my point across when it came to that. But when I was thinking about it, and I saw Sullivan Barrera fight, because I haven't really watched him, but once I seen everybody talking about him, I went and checked him out, and he's a good Cuban fighter, and I think that would make a good match between him and Beterbiev. But I think Marcus Brown, all right, recently knocked out Gabriel Campillo, and I know Campillo's over the hill, all right, but I think Marcus Brown looked more impressive against Campillo than any other fighter I've seen in the ring with Campillo, including Fonfara and Beterbiev and Tavares Cloud or any other light heavyweight that's been in the ring with Campillo and that's beaten Campillo. Okay, I think Marcus Brown looked very, very impressive, knocking him out in the first round. Okay, but anyway, let's break down the division. We should have an undisputed champion by now, but since we don't, and since these guys failed to get this match going between Stevenson and Kovalev, let's talk about all of the other options here. Okay, plus we have Ward, who's allegedly in the division. I can't even say he's in the division right now because I don't know. He's trying to fight this guy Murdoch, and Murdoch is a super middleweight, so he's not really a light heavy. But Ward is supposedly, they're trying to put him in the ring with Kovalev at the end of next year. All right, so Ward is there. Bernard Hopkins didn't retire. I've seen reports recently about him fighting Arthur Abraham. From 168. But, he's not really that relevant right now. But let's talk about all of the other fights. Now, like I said, the Pascal-Kovalev fight would be a good fight again. But I just think that we all know who's going to win that fight. So it's a very predictable fight. There's really not many people left for HBO to keep pairing the same guys from the same side or the HBO side against Kovalev. How many times are we going to see these fights? Chavez Jr., I don't really think he's relevant, but people want to get him in a ring because he's a name that everyone wants to beat up on. Okay? let me look because I have actually have BoxRec up, and I wanted to look at it just in case I forgot anyone. Edwin Rodriguez, another guy I wanted to bring up. He lost to Andre Ward, but I thought it was a good fight. It was very physical. He was a much bigger fighter, a bigger puncher than Ward, and Ward, you know, looked impressive, but it was very physical. And it was a tough fight, but Rodriguez hasn't lost since that fight. And I know he's fighting on a PBC. Maybe we could get a fight with him and Fonfara, or I wouldn't be surprised if Adonis Stevenson fought him. Stevenson recently knocked out Carpensy, a guy that beat Chad Dawson. Okay, but it was an impressive win. I think Stevenson and Kovalev is damn near knocking out everybody they fight. This is why they should fight each other. But there's still a lot of guys they haven't fought, which they probably match them up with pretty soon, because that's just the way everything is working right now. Everybody wants to be stingy with the money, and none of these guys want to work together. Nathan Cleverly, he's staying at 175, hopefully. He had a good fight with Fonfara. Hopefully we don't see a rematch, because that would be another predictable rematch. There's plenty of other people that Nathan Cleverly could fight. Okay, so let's move on. We have the younger guys. All right, we have the Olympic gold medalist, Igor Mikhosev. I might have said his name wrong, but from Russia. Someone put me onto him last year when Artur Beterbiev was doing his thing. And he's undefeated. I think he has about 10 professional fights. Pretty good boxer, a very, decorated amateur background. He should be getting in the ring with a Beterbiev or Marcus Brown or a Sullivan Barrera or one of these guys eventually, or a guy that's outgoing like a Gabriel Campillo, maybe Sakio Bika. He's still out the division. Those are guys that you need to check out. Okay. But in my personal opinion, as far as the newer guys, I like Marcus Brown the best. Okay. I actually think he's a little bit better than Beterbiev and Sullivan Barrera. So if you haven't seen Marcus Brown, go and definitely check him out, because I think he's a very, very talented fighter. I've been talking about him for a little bit because I remember I saw him for the first time a couple years ago when I went to see, I'm not sure which fight it was. It might have been Judah versus Paulie Malignaggi in the Barclays, or maybe it was Victor Ortiz against who's the guy that knocked out Victor Ortiz? Louis Collazo. Okay, he was on the undercard of one of those fights, but I went to the fight and I saw him for the first time on the pre-fights early, and I went early and I saw Marcus Brown, and I've been following him since then, and he recently knocked out Gabriel Campillo. So check out his fights. I think he's very, very good, very fast. He reminds me of Julian J. Rock Williams down in junior middleweight. They kind of fight similar to me, very fast and explosive. But Marcus Brown is a better body puncher, and he has a lot more power. So, he's fought guys like Gabriel Campillo. He's fought Cornelius White. He fought, a bunch of guys that, a lot of guys ran through. Not nobody serious. But, just he's on the come up like Beterbiev. He should be in the ring with Beterbiev or Sullivan Barrera, okay? But I think Marcus Brown, definitely go and check him out. We need to do more videos about some other up-and-coming fighters instead of talking about champs that just won't fight each other, refuse to fight each other. Okay, I can't really think of anybody else. I did pull up BoxRec here, but I think I've gotten everyone out of the way. Or should be fighting a guy like a Isaac Chilamba, or who else is here? Ward should be fighting guys like that, before he fights this Murdoch guy. I don't know what's going on, but Ward should be fighting at least a Muhammadi before. He shouldn't even be fighting that. We're talking top. We're talking pound for pound Ward here. This is what we're. That's the problem. And I made this in my last video. Ward should be fighting so many other guys before he fights a Murdoch. You know, to prepare himself. But these are some of the guys that I've been watching. Hopefully Beterbiev and Sullivan Barrera happens. That would be a good fight. We have Thomas Williams Jr. He lost recently to Gabriel Campillo. I remember seeing that fight. Thomas Williams Jr. I remember seeing a fight on ESPN between him and Cornelius White, which was a pretty good fight on ESPN. That was a good fight. That was that fight. It ended in one round, but both of these guys knocked each other down in the first round. So it was a crazy fight. Check out Igor Mikoltsev, the Olympian that I told you, the gold medalist. Check him out. And out of all these guys, that's just about it. A lot of these fights were already made. Outside of these fighters that's on the come up, we already see most of these fights. But we need to mix it up a little bit better in the division, just like every other division. The same problems. We have some of the same issues in the junior middleweight and the middleweight and welterweight and light, super lightweight and everything. All of these divisions we have the same issues, but you can recognize it easily in this division specifically because everybody's on one side or the other, and they're trying to keep all of these guys. If you're PBC / Showtime, you're going to fight each other. If you're HBO, you're going to fight each other. It's getting really, really annoying and repetitive, and it's like they're forcing fights. They're really trying to just make rematches like Kovalev and Pascal. Not a bad fight. Yuniesquez Gonzalez, that's another guy that Ward could be fighting that's good. That won't be easy, I wasn't mad at the Edwin Rodriguez fight. I thought that was a tough fight, against a guy that clearly should be at light heavy. That's why he came in overweight. But we need Ward, before he fights Kovalev, he needs to prepare himself and fight bigger guys, not still fighting super middleweights that never fought anyone. All right? But, maybe fighting in the John Pascal before fighting Kovalev. Fighting, I don't even say Beterbiev. Maybe a Beterbiev wouldn't be bad. Beterbiev wouldn't be bad, but, I already feel like Beterbiev, being that he's undefeated, we don't really know. I can't really gauge how good Beterbiev is yet. I think, like I said, I think Marcus Brown is a little bit more promising than Beterbiev. But, Ward should be fighting better fighters, man. Straight up. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of the division as a whole. Any other fighters on the come up that I didn't name. Any other fights that you would like to see. Definitely want to see Yuniesquez Gonzalez fight again. I definitely want to see from far fight like on Kovalev, and some of the HBO fighters fight some of the PBC fighters. Chavez Jr., I don't really care about what happens with him because I don't think he could beat any of these top guys, honestly. I don't think, I can't remember the guy he fought last, but he didn't look impressive against the guy, But let me know what you guys think. I just wanted to talk about the division, man. We need to have an undisputed champ, and we need to have these networks, not separating the fighters with the networks and everything, because good fights could be made. It's just not happening. All right, and I'm out of here.